I chose to do a case study over an ADHD case. It was a 14-year-old boy, Billy Stark, who had behavioral disorders. He had been expelled from his previous schools because of his repetitive bad behavior, and he really struggled with a poor home lifestyle and his academics because of his actions. At the beginning of the school year, the principal called a meeting with the staff to see which class would be best placement for Billy. The classroom that he chose to be put in, the teacher thought that he would be successful or at least help an improvement with Billy, but there really wasn't much change. Shortly after the school year started, there was a meeting called with Billy's father, and Billy's father informed the school and staff that he was absent from a big part of Billy's life growing up and kind of left all the responsibility on parenting Billy with his mother, and Billy's mother is no longer a part of his life. So you can kind of imagine how tough of a time Billy has had or is still is having. The teacher that Billy was placed with tried everything that was possible, an extra assistance, special education programs, more things that would interest Billy, and nothing really changed. Billy would do anything from throw things across the classroom, cuss at everyone, including the teacher, or go to the bathroom and smoke. And this was in 7th grade. And anything they tried, nothing really helped. And with the teacher that he was placed trying so much, his focus was taken from the other students and focused all on Billy. And the other students went home to their parents, and those parents actually called and reported that to the school, that all the attention was focused on Billy, and it kind of took away from them learning. The teacher that Billy was placed with at the end became emotionally exhausted and no longer to provide the teaching skills that he could before because of how much it took out of him to be able to deal with Billy. The assistant that Billy was provided with learned Billy's interest and tried to organize activities that would help him become more interested, but Billy would only be interested for such amount of time and then lose interest and continue with his bad habits and with not listening or not having an interest. And that was a struggle for the assistant to be able to help him, because it was like he wanted no help. And this situation is kind of like kids nowadays growing up in middle school and in high school. I would always have at least one kid in one of the 7 classes I had who always was a attention seeker and never wanted to learn, never wanted to listen, and always had to be the pretty much class clown and just kind of take away from everyone else, which isn't very fair. And that's how I kind of related Billy to something I've experienced, because someone else in my class would always be someone who would be the class clown or just have to have the attention on them, when really the attention should have been on the teacher to learn. But after everything, they tried everything with Billy and nothing improved. Later on, Billy's family decided to move to Indiana, I believe, closer to family that would be able to provide more care and help them with Billy. Shortly after they moved there, the school was informed that Billy was placed in a juvenile detention center. With them figuring out that he was placed in a juvenile detention center, the school and staff, the teacher Billy had, and the assistant began to think that they should have expelled him or took more action to prevent things getting the way they did, because towards the end there was no way they could help Billy or anything. And they thought that it was on them that they failed to take more action to prevent Billy from continuing his bad habits, but really it was just them trying to help in any way possible. Another thing that they tried to do with Billy to help him would be give him little rewards, but he just turned those into just a big problem. And he would, for example, he had tokens if he did so much, and he would take a little and just throw it across the classroom or something ridiculous. And a lot of kids nowadays also face the same problems as Billy, maybe not as severe, but a lot of kids do suffer from ADHD and behavioral disorders, which prevents them from learning and also their other classmates from learning. So this was kind of interesting, and it's something I could kind of relate to because I've seen it in the classroom from middle school and in high school.